Chat, first things first, it is 3:31 in the morning, and I was just like, you know what? Why do I keep pushing these reactions back? What am I doing? Why am I wasting time? First things first, this video gonna be important because this guy right here is my favorite streamer right now as we speak. Joe Bart, and I always speak good on Joe Bart. I feel like, and I be seeing him getting snubbed off lists and shit. He be getting snubbed. He got snubbed off the top 20 streamers on Complex. He got snubbed off a lot of lists. Niggas, people never consider Joe Bart as one of the best. Joe Bart is the best streamer right now. He can do it. He don't even have to even do an IRL. He, as a desktop streamer, he's the best desktop streamer we'll probably ever see. The most entertaining. To me, he remind me of how streaming used to be, and I love that about Joe Bart. So shout out Joe Bart. We're gonna get into this reaction video. It's long, so I don't want to sit here and just talk y'all ears off. But I don't like how he be getting snubbed. Bro, Joe Bart is he's a goat, my nigga. Joe Bart, I ain't gonna lie. Like, I'm gonna admit this shit. I used to go to sleep at one point. I used to put on his philosophy videos. I couldn't go to sleep without watching his philosophy video. I'm not gonna lie to you. I know it sounds crazy as fuck, but that's the truth. So shout out Joe Bart. You may see me vaping this video a little bit. Ignore it. Just close it. Just don't even watch me vape. All right. If you see me vape, just ignore it. But I love y'all. Let's get into it. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what this video is about.
It sounds pretty easy, right? Just give the chat what it wants. The problem is, chat never wants just one thing. There's thousands of people all asking for something different, and no matter what you do, someone's unhappy. The biggest streamers learn to follow the majority and keep the party moving, because stopping everything for one unhappy viewer is the cardinal sin of streaming. You don't leave 10,000 people hanging over a single name in the chat. But what happens when the needs of the one are a matter of life and death?
My girlfriend of 3 years took her own life in November of 2025, losing my best friend and the person I love most in the world. I'm feeling like my life is no longer worth living, and I've been falling into a bad habit.
The thing about Joe Bart is, if you know him, you know I'm a mental health creator. He also dabbles into mental health, and I believe it or not, a lot of people watch him as therapy. Bro, check out his philosophy channel. I'm gonna start doing some shit like that eventually, but Joe Bart inspires me, bro. Y'all gotta watch him. I'm telling y'all. If you haven't, because I feel like people outside of people only know the castanets and the speeds and all the jinx, but they don't know people that don't really. That's how you know. It's a difference between people who tapped into streaming or just knows who's famous. Complex, y'all only know who famous. Y'all not really tapped into streamers like that. Y'all put Senna at 4. Joe Bart should be at 4. Shout out to Senna. She deserved to be up there, but not at 4. Joe Bart, and put her at 4 and don't put Joe Bart on there. Are y'all out of y'all mind? But shout out Senna though. Shout out Senna.
The drug addiction leading me to on MDMA in December. I don't want to be here anymore.
This is Joe Bartolozzi, and he's one of the only streamers that stops everything when someone needs help.
If a chatter of mine is coming into my chat saying they're suicidal, I am first and foremost going to read their message.
But when you do this, when you make yourself the person people turn to at their lowest, you're also now the one who has to carry the weight of it.
Oh shit.
Because now you're surrounded by darkness.
Today I decided to end everything. Got a shotgun, can't find it in me to love myself.
Now you're giving away pieces of yourself to everyone around you.
People are genuinely asking me to fix their problems. I can't.
Now it feels like the whole world is on your shoulders.
Now I'm going, oh, if I stop posting, people are gonna start themselves.
That's a heavy weight to pick up, and we wanted to know why.
Who is Joe Bartolozzi, and why do you care so deeply about some of the things that you do? Which is maybe a little deep for 10:30 in the morning, but
no, it's all right.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
That's how I thought the world was gonna look in 2030.
AI.
Joe Bartolozzi was born on February 6th, 2002, and grew up in southern New Jersey. Joe wasn't the kid you have picked to become famous online. He was the small, quiet kid, the one getting picked last for everything.
I was kind of like the lanky kid that didn't really know how to control his body, so that's why I was picked last.
But by high school, things started turning around. He hit his growth spurt, got into lifting, and went from being the kid nobody picked to a legitimate athlete. So by 2019, Joe's a track athlete at a Catholic prep school in New Jersey, working part-time in a GNC, heading towards a completely normal life. And then a Chinese tech company bought a dying lip-syncing app.
TikTok is the latest app to capture the attention of teens and young adults across the world.
A Chinese company called ByteDance
bought the... when TikTok first came out, Motherfuckers wasn't downloading that shit, and if you had it, they'll laugh at you. The whole time they was sneaking on TikTok. 2020 was a rough time. I'm not gonna lie, a rough time. 2019. That's when it started. I think 2019 was when they made TikTok, and people would laugh at you if you was on that shit. I remember that shit. I remember that. Y'all was laughing at TikTok. Now all y'all motherfuckers is on there. It's probably the #1 app right now. Niggas cried when that shit got banned. Y'all be judging things, and then now when it's popular, people want to fuck with it. I'm telling y'all, you had to be there for 2019. If you wasn't there, you just don't know.
Relatively dead musically. They gutted it, rebranded it, and on August 2nd, 2018, TikTok officially hit the App Store.
TikTok.
Now, early on, TikTok was mostly just the same creators who came over from music. So all of ththose cringy lip sync videos and the reputation that came with them carried straight over.
Going through your parents' divorce is more fun than going through TikTok.
For a while there, TikTok as a whole was pretty cringy.
Bro,
yeah, I used to get made
They was shitting on this shit. They was shitting on it.
fun of.
But even with that reputation, Joe figured he'd try it anyway. He posted his first TikTok in December of 2019, and it got a few hundred likes, which is nothing crazy, but it was enough to make him post another one, and another one, and he just kept going. Within a few...
I remember when he had that beanie, and he was just like talking mad shit about everything. I remember that. That's how I got introduced to Joe Bart.
few months, he went from pointing at text on the screen to actually talking, ranting straight to the camera about whatever stupid thing pissed him off that day.
There's no looking left or right in the urinal at all times.
This is where Joe carved out his lane. He became the loud guy in the beanie who'd yell about people who drink sparkling water or crash out over some DIY tutorial.
The coffee pot's floating!
By the time COVID hit, TikTok was becoming a mainstream platform. Suddenly, TikTokers were performing at NBA halftime shows or hanging with the Kardashians. I mean, the D'Amelios were dropping a reality show on Hulu. It was the biggest app in the world, and Joe had gotten in early.
What happened to the
6 months after you started posting, if I'm not mistaken, you had over 1 million followers on TikTok.
2020 TikTok, you could literally post anything, and if it got any amount of views, half the people that saw it would follow you.
So now you've got a teenage guy, fresh out of high school, with millions of people watching his every move. But what do you think this does to a person?
It's not the same guys as like a Disney star, right? Because I was nowhere near that level. But it's just the idea of like, I was a teenager that's getting clout, and I think 99% of the time, that's bad.
And Joe was no exception. All of those views, all that attention that comes with internet fame, it went straight to his head.
I went from being a really insecure, it was like two polar opposites, right? And I had to find the medium. Like I used to be really insecure when I was in like middle school or early high school, to a point where like I started working out, I started doing this, and then it went like full flop to like narcissism. And so it was like an obsession with myself because of insecurity that then inflated my ego to the point where I'm like, oh, I'm awesome.
And you can see it in the content from that era. The captions, the attitude, the way that he carried himself.
So this is my proposal for any women out there that would like to participate in the holiday but don't have anybody to assist them. I'm here.
This is the version of Joe that Joe doesn't like.
That person in that facade I had to do to create that character actually became me for a short period of time, and I hated it.
But as much as Joe hates this version of himself, he also kind of owes everything to him. Because that ego is what gave him the confidence and drive to start making bigger swings in his career. And when you're building yourself from the ground up, those two things can be the difference between success and failure. You see, everyone wants to start their own thing until they realize how much work starting actually takes. Building your website, setting up payments, all the boring stuff. And most people don't quit because the idea was bad. They quit because the setup got in the way. That's where WAP comes in. WAP lets you launch your entire online business from one place. Communities, digital products, or even you can have 1 million followers on there and make no money, because the platform simply doesn't pay its creators anything worthwhile.
Back then,
like,
that was back then.
I was probably making like what, 10K a year.
So, you started making money around like 2023, 2022. That was when people started making money. They started raising the RPMs and taking. I think they did a beta program and motherfuckers started making money. If you had some millions of views or hundreds of thousands of views, you was at least making money. Like you could have made 3,000, 4,000. You could have. People were making enough to quit their jobs at one point, and then it kind of stopped around like 2025. When China stopped owning TikTok, it went down. But they added additional awards, and depending on your niche, if you can get additional awards, you can get paid even more than what they used to pay. So additional awards should be every creator's on TikTok's goal to achieve. Make sure you're making high quality content and getting them additional, because they pay a lot. They pay a lot. pay a lot. I'm at all my videos right now, additional award. It pay a lot.
Making less than minimum wage.
So, in the summer of 2020, just before starting his freshman year of college, Joe announced his first ever Twitch stream.
I'm gonna start streaming video games on Twitch in a day or two.
He started moving viewers from TikTok to Twitch, where he'd stream games like Rocket League and Fall Guys.
Oh, I got it!
Then he'd take the best moments from those streams and post them to YouTube. By fall of that year, Joe was juggling multiple TikTok uploads a day, streaming on Twitch, making YouTube content, all while managing his classwork in college.
What was the schedule like in college? There's so much going on. How do you manage that?
It was a lot. Like, balancing streaming and college sucked. But it was so doable. And I hate when streamers say, oh, I really needed to drop out to pursue streaming. Like, get the out of here. I was growing and in college the entire time.
Thank you for 3 million followers.
4 million followers!
By December, Joe had cleared 5 million followers on TikTok. And just a few months after his first stream, Joe was pulling in nearly 1,000 average viewers on Twitch.
Like, I was so obsessed with performance.
Joe was constantly studying social media, trying to understand what made videos pop, what people responded to, and why certain videos failed. That confidence had turned into a full-blown obsession. But because of it, Joe was starting to not like the person he saw in the mirror.
I'm trying to map out where the ego kind of starts to disappear versus... Like, was there a low point, a moment where you're like, holy, I gotta change?
Yeah, I don't really... I don't think there was, like, an aha. Right? It wasn't like a light switch flip. It was more over the span of like a 6-month period where I was like, I'm kind of being a dickhead. Yeah. Coupled with a variety of things. So I don't know if you can include this in the video. That's up to you. I tripped on mushrooms for the first time. Like, and I hate when people talk about like that being a genuine changing factor in their life. Because it's like, okay, cornball, like that's what made you, really have that light switch. But I think it was like, it was a part of it, like it removed the grooves of life that I have gotten into. And it made me reset to a point where I had to kind of look in myself. A lot of the people that I knew in philosophy classes as well were sharing ideas that, I may have heard, but not resonated or understood fully. It was so much like, wow, I'm going to die one day. I should kind of treat people in a way that's like, this is our only life. And I accredit my viewers a lot because in that time, parasocial relationships built a little bit, which is bad. But at the same time, there were people coming to me for the first time going, I want to kill myself.
You were chatting to your last streamer because you're ending it all? Whoa, 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 whoa.
If there was a moment of like lock in, it was that.
What happened? One of my subs just said he's gonna kill himself. Dude, do you need help?
Because I was going, yeah, even though I'm 19, there are people that actually look up to me in a way that's like, I need to be better at.
Life is the best thing that will ever happen. No matter how bad it can get, life is amazing.
Now, put yourself in that chair for a second. You're 19 years old. You started streaming to play video games, to have fun and make people laugh, and somebody you've never met just told you they're planning their own death. And out of everyone in their life, they picked you to tell.
I feel like no one cares and I want to end it all. I have a date planned, so you'll probably never see me again. I want to say you make me laugh a lot. I'm going to kill myself October 2nd. No one will remember me.
And this kept happening. Joe would go live, and sooner or later, somebody would show up in a genuine crisis, typing their darkest thoughts into a Twitch chat.
Don't want to be a mood killer. I just want to say my family basically bullies me every day, and I can't get them to stop. I've been thinking about suicide a lot.
When Joe first started getting these messages from chatters, his initial response was the same as anyone with the hearts would be. He wanted to help. Both on stream and off of it, Joe took the time to talk with those viewers, getting to know them on a personal level and giving them real advice just like you would with a friend.
You guys mean the world to me. If you need help with something like that, I can try my best. So that's why I'm kind of chilling or pausing the stream for the last 15 minutes to talk about this, because that's important.
But there's a harsh reality that all streamers have to learn eventually. Your viewers aren't your friends. They can't be.
I have had probably 20 people come to me about themselves, on live. The first 2 times it's happened, I have tried to, help them. And then it just ended badly in terms of them getting parasocial towards me and then nonstop coming to me.
You see, the relationship between a streamer and a viewer is way more complicated than a normal friendship. When you spend hours watching someone through a screen, day after day, your brain starts doing something weird. You pick up their sense of humor, you learn their opinions, their moods, what makes them laugh and what sets them off. You come to know them the way you'd know a friend. Except...
And that's why I think also streaming has a level of longevity, because if you can build a community, this can be a real career. But it also could be a lot because people get parasocial. You know, people are attracted to your personality. And when I say attracted, I mean like they cling on to, you're their sense of TV. You're their sense of, okay, boom. For happiness, you know how back in the day we used to come home and what would help us escape reality was watching TV, SpongeBob. Shit. Fucking, I used to love SpongeBob. We used to come home and watch TV to clear your mind. If you had a bad day in school, a bad day at work, you come home and watch TV and that'll be your sense of peace. But now, people don't watch TV no more. They watch streamers, so they get parasocial. And they depend on the streamer for their sense of happiness. And that could be very dangerous. It could be very dangerous.
They have no idea you even exist.
It could be very dangerous.
This is what's called a parasocial relationship, and it can be a dangerous thing.
Now a scary home invasion as 3 masked intruders with guns grab a popular influencer by the hair demanding money.
3 guys came into my room, turned all the lights on, and then they had the gun pointed at me.
If you're running your own business, you need Symphony.
While most parasocial relationships don't reach this level, there's always a possibility that it can.
3 popular Twitch streamers face a terrifying encounter while live streaming along the Santa Monica Pier.
I'll kill you right now. Kill you right now. If the streamer leans too far one way, they might come across as uninterested or cold, but lean too far the other, and viewers can mistake an occasional reply for friendship.
Please stop following me. It's getting weird. It's getting strange. I don't know you, okay? So please leave me alone.
That's why y'all gotta chill with the IRLs, man. At some point, the IRL is gonna get dangerous. Even if you have security, it's gonna get dangerous. Y'all gotta be careful. I think IRLs ruin streaming. I think streamers should be just desktop, yo. IRLs is dangerous as shit. I'm not gonna say I did benefit streaming and made it bigger and more broad, but it's dangerous. It's dangerous.
That's where things can take a turn for the worst, because now that attention can turn into expectation. And when the expectation of a response to the next chat isn't met, it can feel less like being ignored by a streamer and more like a betrayal by someone that they thought they knew.
It's a weird parasocial relationship that forms, and you're not even aware that this person is forming that typically until they're like about to show up, or they do show up.
The gap is hard to manage, which is why most streamers keep a barrier up around the heavy personal stuff.
My sis is dead.
Right, let's try and keep it positive.
Please don't talk about side in my chat, please. This is something I just don't like to hear or talk about, you know?
And you can't really blame them. At the end of the day, streamers are supposed to entertain.
At some point, there has to be a boundary between caring about the people watching and becoming responsible for everything that they bring into the chat.
They become too attached to you, where they see you as an actual friend that they have. So I feel like that is kind of a boundary that you have to set as a streamer. But it's hard to gauge where that line is.
Joe had every reason to draw that same boundary. He'd answered the heavy messages, taken conversations off stream, and learned what could happen when things become too parasocial.
The first 2 times I helped somebody with like issues, they just kept messaging me, and then they like got upset when I stopped messaging them. So it's more so of that issue.
But mental health meant too much to him. Ignoring somebody who might not make it through the night was never a choice he could live with. After those early mistakes, Joe implemented 2 important factors that would eliminate those odd parasocial dynamics from coming into the picture. For starters, he removed any one-on-one interaction. All conversations with chatters were strictly held on stream from the Twitch chat.